Hello, and welcome back to Virtue's Last Reward. I'm finally going to watch the opening that I've been skipping. Oh. Okay, well, I'm glad I skipped that because I saw like a more billion spoilers in there. Anyway, I am going to review the gold files, and I'm going to share my final thoughts about this game because I plan to do a bonus for every game I play on this channel. And I've read a few of these, but at a certain point I did stop reading them. Let me see. Okay. I think I've read the first 2 pages. I'm not sure. Okay. Yes, this seems familiar to me. Okay, so I was informed pretty early on not to read some of these because they contain spoilers. I'm not really seeing it yet. Okay. Okay. I like how it's like, that means that if one takes into account the time when the door is opening and when it's closing, it is open for somewhat more than 9 seconds. That was barely relevant, but okay. Yes. Right, this is... I should be reading, like, the names of these too, so I'm like, I don't open it and be like, what the heck? Okay, I'm sorry if you want to hear me read all of these, I just don't want to, bore you at all. Nice brown in color. This is interesting. I do want to see whenever this does happen in real time, which is not that far away. Okay. This drug also appears in the sister title. It was created by Mr. H, who was the president of Cradle Pharmaceuticals and appeared in 999. That's interesting. Yep, a variety of mandrake. Okay. Severe memory loss. You know, I was thinking about how, apparently they kept, like, injecting Dio with this stuff. He was going to have, like, no memory at that point. Like, whenever he woke up and started, like, freaking out when he was handcuffed to the sink. But maybe that's for the better. Maybe if he loses all his memory, he has the potential to start a new life. Alright, this is... Oh, this is the new stuff. It literally says new. Alright, this is the muscle relaxant. It's a component in some of the poisons used by indigenous populations in South America, who took their arrows with poison when hunting. This is interesting. I think I've heard... Oh, also, there's a small typo in... I can't show you because my mouse cursor's not on, but it's like in the middle where it says tub. I think it wasn't this... Oh, crap, sorry. My controller's freaking out. I think this had been mentioned somewhat. Not this exact thing, but something similar to it in The Great Ace Attorney, which I really love those games, by the way. If you have not played them, they're really good. But yeah, this sounds familiar. I'm not going to, like, go into, like, the details about it, but the whole thing about it, like, the name itself, it has similar name stuff. I think it was called Kurare or something in Great Ace Attorney. So I think it might be related. I'm not sure if it's the exact same thing. Acronym? Okay, oops. ATOM. Automatic Diagnosis and Analysis Machine. This design uses nuclear magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, to examine and diagnose anyone who put into it. Okay. Much smaller and more efficient. Advanced computer built. Man, that'd be nice to have. Because, you know, as a woman, the doctors are just like, you need to lose weight, or it's just anxiety. If you know, you know. Alright. Interesting. Can also perform autopsies. Yes, as we've seen. Alright. Pandemic. An epidemic spreads beyond a certain area. It becomes a pandemic. Cholera, typhoid fever, tuberculosis, the Black Plague, and smallpox. Alright, next is Radical 6. If you want to know what Radical and 6 mean, you'll just have to play the game and find out. Injection gun. Wow. Very useful. Alright, I'm glad these are not all super long, because, it would be a bit irritating to have to spend a lot of time reading all of them. Okay. Gotcha. Several conditions must be met. It's kind of hard to remember though, so let's look at it like this instead. Okay. EU. Oh my god! I was like, when did this come up? But it's when, there was that poster in the crew quarters, and Tenmyoji saw him like, it has to be at least this amount of EU or something. EU is a system developed to measure a combination of physical, emotional, and situation attractiveness. It ranges from 0 to 20, where 20 might be Marilyn Monroe, and 0 might be Gilbert Gottfried. For the curious, Danny Trejo rates 16 EU. Who was curious about that? Just being sexy does not guarantee a high EU rating. Not to be confused with competing systems of hotness or sexability, the EU system weighs a number of factors such as practicality, sustainability, emotional investment, and the bias of the observer. The high EU rating have usually mastered the art of the tease. Man, mine would be 0. Grandpa. What are these things? Why is this something? A collection of films that Tenmyoji has gathered. Their content isn't really explicit per se, but they still aren't really appropriate for someone Quark's age. It should be noted that the term does not imply the videos contain grandpas or grandpa-like actors. That's sad. Sigma's cat problem, part 1. The fact that there has to be 2 parts about this is really funny. Sigma has a strange verbal and possibly psychological tic, which causes him to make cat puns whenever he talks about cats. Because of this behavior, it seems to be an experience he had a child. Okay. When Sigma was in preschool, there was a deserted house near his school that everyone called the Cat Mansion. He'd always loved cats, so every day he would visit the Cat Mansion and give the cats that lived there some of his lunch. One day, he realized that he could understand what the cats were saying to one another. What? A magical black cat appeared and told him that it had given him this gift in exchange for giving food to its fellows. But, the magical cat said, to be continued, ... You can never tell anyone about your gift, the magical black cat warned. If you do, you'll be cursed. But young Sigma was so happy about his newfound ability that he slipped and told a girl about it, so the black cat cursed him. His curse was to speak only in cat puns for the rest of his life. Fortunately for him, a magical white cat came along soon afterward, felt the curse was a little too harsh and lessened it, but he would only talk in cat puns when he talked about cats, and they lived happily ever after. Okay, crazy. I'm glad I took the time to read these. Alright, phone. Okay. I like how this tells you about the number Easter eggs I learned about. There, you can also put 8008, I believe, and you also get a funny message. Okay, Golem, and not to be confused with Golem. The golem is an anthropomorphic creature from Jewish folklore. Golems are made from clay and will observe any orders given to them by their creators without question, although they tend to take instructions very literally. Interesting. So, I did hear that I think in the original Japanese, the Myrmidons were called clay dolls or something, and I was wondering if that was a reference to this at all. That's what it reminded me of immediately. Okay, here's this guy. Oh my god. Golem type male. Cockney muddle. Number. I wonder what Luna stands for then. Chinese room. Interesting. Wow, this is very pertinent to the modern day. You know, it's crazy how many people like talk to and are fine with AI. It just drives me crazy. Like, I went to Buc-ee's for the first time a couple days ago, and they had like this like generated AI image sign thing that was like, if you get chicken and fries, you can get a free popsicle or something, and it just made me so annoyed. Like, man. There is like already very little more American about a gas station the size of a football field that has like a cult-like following, but then also, apparently this huge rich company cannot afford to hire a real artist to make their sign. Like, what is that? What is that? It's so tiring and annoying. Alright. Turing test. Yes. Sorry, I'm not reading these out loud. I'm just skimming them. I'm only reading the ones that I find interesting or funny. I guess I'll read this one, actually. The test has 3 participants, a human judge, a human subject, and a machine. The judge engages in conversation with the human and the machine, and if the judge cannot determine who is the machine and who is the human, the machine is considered to have passed the Turing test. And Fine mentions that perhaps she and her companions have been captured to perform a test. She's referring to the Turing test. Okay. Okay, that's the same. Alright. This is all stuff that have been explained already. Gollum's story, the point. Just of Gollum's somewhat rambling explanation. Yeah, I felt that in the moment. Like, is that the center of thought doesn't necessarily have to reside in the body. Yes, Lotus was talking about this. In the case of Gollum, the self clearly resided in the mainframe and operated the body remotely. Since a self-aware robot could exist this way, he theorized, what would prevent humans from doing the same? If humans are actually being controlled by an outside force, then is there actually any such thing as free will? Interesting. Wound 1 and Wound 2. Okay, if you say so. Okay, this is about the, autopsy stuff. Not to be confused with a coroner. A coroner is a government official who assigns law enforcement. Who assists law enforcement by investigating the causes of death and dealing with the paperwork and the logistics surrounding corpses. Okay. Next is autopsy. Yes. It is also super gross. Luminol mixture. Keep this in mind the next time you're contemplating how to deal with the neighbors listening to death metal at 3 in the morning. I live in the middle of nowhere, so we don't really have to deal with neighbors like that, thankfully. It's not part of his suit? It's attached directly to his wrist, with the face looking out. Oh, I see. That's really interesting. Okay, I see what they mean. Mineralized amnesia. Okay. Or so the person sitting behind me says. That's creepy. Alright, cooked food, 1. Okay, it's explaining the different types of food that were mentioned. Interesting. I'm not sure I would eat any of these, unfortunately. I don't really eat, red meat at all. Unfortunately. Okay. Have a nice trauma, have a nice trace, have a nice trumpet. I don't think I've ever heard that last one. Free the soul. Alright. Free the soul of why? What? Who's why? That's interesting. Oh. Okay. Considering how a peaceful world of quality, but no conflict or poverty, usually plays out in the movies, You seem like a pretty scary group of people. Alright, Myrmidons. Free the Soul is a powerful new religious order dedicated to establishing a new world order. And the Myrmidons are their elite frontline soldiers in that secret war. Okay. Brother. The founder of Free the Soul, though he prefers not to be referred to as such. As a child, he had a younger brother whom he was very fond of. Unfortunately, the worst happened, and the younger brother was murdered. Rage and despair filled brother, and for 9 days and 9 nights, he was consumed by his own misery. On the morning of the 10th day, however, he had a revelation. Mankind was rife with base desires and needed to be purified so that a new world could come into being. God had spoken to brother and given him a mission. Y is a symbol for miracles. Okay, well that explains that. Bracelet 3. Here's some important information that isn't revealed in the game. The bracelet on the left wrist of the 9 participants in the Ambidex game has an important feature that's never mentioned. As soon as it's put on, a needle on the underside activates and inserts itself in the wearer. What? It doesn't necessarily mean that it injects a drug, only that it activates and pierces the skin. Maybe there's something on the needle, or maybe there isn't. All that's certain is that when someone puts on the needle, they get poked. Interesting? On the bracelet. Is that how they were given Radical 6? I wonder. AB game. Ambidex, but also... Alright. Yes, I thought this. And it was also talking about apple and banana in that one thing. Okay, this explains the general process. Penalty. Okay. Voting machine. It is not to be mistaken for an ATM hazmat suit. Sorry if this is really boring. I just want to share this with you. In case anyone watching this might be curious, you're welcome to pause to read as I'm reading, but like I said, I'll only read the ones I find interesting out loud. Scotch. A little scotch should scratch this itch after returning from work, which annoys Quark. Root beer float. Also known as a black cow? I've never heard of that. Quark has taken to saying, root beer floats my boat, which warms Henry's heart. That's cute. Alright, we're over halfway. Hang in there. A and B supposedly stand for above and below. There's a rumor that the floors are actually named after a particular Swedish pop rock group from the 70s, but everyone involved in this project has insisted that it is a vile and hurtful lie. Okay, that's quite funny. Okay. This is explaining the slow down brain stuff. Okay. I feel like I've already read this, but I'm not- yeah, I think I have. Or... It sounds like someone named Adele Jumpy, but why? Bruh. A secret of Quark's hat. Yes, I've been wondering. Don't you think this hat looks kind of weird? There's that huge band that just wraps around his head. Is he hiding a pair of Ferengi ears? Or maybe he's just a young Lobot? What does this mean? I don't know what that means. Well, this is just between you and me, but it's got missiles in there. The sides of the hat are hiding those pods, like you see in helicopters or SAM sites. Except those missiles are tiny, and when he gets in trouble, both sides of the hat open up and they just fly out all at once like pshh. Just kidding. Actually, just keep snaps. But okay, man. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Some of these are very funny, and some of these are just like say stuff I've already known. An amazing machine that augments an individual's natural ability to heal, strengthens their immune system, accelerates their metabolism, and can cure many other otherwise incurable diseases. Interesting. Right. Right, I can be cured. I mean, frozen until a cure is found, whatever my problem is. Okay. 2 types of cold sleep. The first type involves lowering your body temperature. This reduces your basal metabolic rate and induces a state similar to hibernation. Alright. It's still functioning, just very slowly. Right, which means that freezing yourself to visit the future is safer than flying from Tokyo to Milan. Right? The past two Nonary games. Whoa, wait, what? Oh, never mind. I'm stupid. I forgot. 16 children were reported missing. Actuality, 18 children were taken, but 2 were never reported. Yes? Alright, that's just... oops. Esper resonance. In the context of this game, Espers are people with the ability to access the morphogenetic field. An Esper can increase the strength of their signal by being in close proximity to other Espers, assuming they are the strongest. The strongest signal will absorb any weak ones nearby, and use them to amplify its own strength, sort of like waves. The biggest wave adds the amplitude of smaller waves to its own and covers them all. Okay. Wait. Okay. Middle-aged man. Clover's older brother, real name Light. Arrogant, uncooperative young man. Still Clover, just younger and with a jacket. Hero of 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 years. Gunpei's childhood friend, real name Akane Kurashiki. 7. Amnesiac detective. Lotus, attractive programmer, has 2 daughters. Okay, true, I guess. Kubota, skittish man, gets blown up. Yep. I like how Ace is just middle-aged man. As if there's nothing else to comment on there. I mean, I guess technically you have to consider that some people might not have played 999, but come on, man. Okay, new stickman. Ice 9. Ugh. H. Okay. Man, this happened in 2018? Crazy. Excuse me. Okay. Actually, this... oh my god. Only about a year until the second one happens, apparently. You know how, apparently, like, in Ace Attorney canon, events are happening? Like, I think just, like, earlier this year, Apollo Justice, spoiler. But that was, the day that Phoenix Wright got hit by a car passed. I think I saw something like that. Okay. Integer factor. Oh my god. My brain immediately turned off upon seeing this crap. For the purposes of factorization, 1 is not considered a prime. Oh my gosh, that's a nightmare. What? It may look like it's talking about a pair of sexy toaster waffles? Oh, like Ego? But it actually means something like, what you are, I was. What I am, you will be. Sometimes it's just an epitaph. Like, the implication is that the person in question was once alive, like the reader. But the reader will someday also be dead. A little ominous, I guess. Okay. Oh, scary. Oh crap, wrong thing. Antimatter bomb. The antimatter bomb makes an exploding baby. Does that make sense? Wait, what? In truth, it's the outcome of a mysterious power robot. I'm just messing with you. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, hold on, wait. I missed the first 2 parts, actually. A device originally created to weaponize genetically engineered psychic bears. Just kidding. It's actually an arm augmented for online sex chat. What is happening? I'm just messing with you. A cybernetic arm is actually a mechanical limb that you can control with your mind. Really? Okay. Alright. Limited stuff books. I really like this necklace. I wonder if there's, I could get a version of it. Oh, oops. Okay. The 0th law of A robot may not harm humanity or by inaction allow humanity to come to harm. Okay. Swimsuit. For some reason, Sigma, or perhaps the author, seems to be naturally obsessed with swimsuits. Why is that? Was he involved in a horrible swimsuit accident, now repressed in his youth? Did he have a crush in high school on a girl on the swim team who put her Olympic aspirations ahead of any possible romance? Is he just a perv? The world may never know. Why is the picture of Tenyoji crouching down on the floor here? For this. Okay. Password input device. Okay. It looks like a gigantic octopus, but it's definitely not edible no matter how you cook it. What the? Interesting. TNT equivalent. TNT stands for Trinity Tallow. No. Tronti Tillatrin. No. Trinidad and Tobago? Ah, yes. Trinitrotoluene. What? I've never heard of that. I actually did not know that's what TNT meant. Whoa! Butter some dangerous stuff. Okay. Okay. We're getting there. Floor B graffiti. Hourglass. Hey, how long are you going to make me wait? I've already flipped this hourglass 100 times. That's really funny, actually. Gentle points. These are a measure of how much of a gentleman you are. Somewhere deep in the United Kingdom is an organization that tracks all gentlemen, determining their caliber based off an ancient and Byzantine collection of rules and guidelines. Every year during the spring, a representative of this organization conducts a cursory investigation of each member's behavior, or at least appears to, and then awards gentle points based on what they saw. The following formula is used. Old ladies escorted across the streets, times. Top hats owned, times. Puzzle solved, times. Money given to gentleman tracking organization. Equals total. Okay. Knife. Okay. I see, like, looking through some things, I can see how they might be spoilers if I saw them at parts in the story that I should not have seen yet. Okay, this is finally explained. Several of the hallways on floor B use special locks indicated on the map by arrows. On the far side of each arrow is a lever. Pulling these levers will unlock the locks. Once this has been done, you can explore the entire area at your leisure. I assumed this, because there was, when you're leaving some of these rooms, you do have to, like, flip a lever, so I just assumed they're, like, one-way doors, and once you open them, it would be fun. Okay, principles of causality. Oh my god. Normally I would comment here that the quantum level is where shit gets real, but given the nature of this phenomenon, it seems like it would be more accurate to say that the quantum level is where shit gets unreal. Okay. Nox's 10 Commandments. The criminal must be mentioned early on. All supernatural or preternatural agencies are ruled out. No more than one secret room. No more than one. You can have one, but that's it. No hitherto undiscovered poisons may be used, nor any appliance which will need a long scientific explanation. Well, that... okay. No one with extrasensory perception or similar powers can appear. No accent must ever help the detective, nor must he ever have an unaccountable intuition which proves to be right. Oops. The detective must not commit the crime. The detective must declare any clues he may discover. The stupid friend of the detective, the Watson, must conceal nothing from the reader. Twin brothers and doubles generally must not appear unannounced. Okay. This is interesting. These are, overall, I feel like they're decent rules. I disagree with some of them, because I feel like you can make interesting stories without necessarily obeying all of these rules. Sun, Moon, Star Key. Oops. Frequently used by adolescent ne'er-do-wells. Can be used as a necklace, but this is not recommended. Yeah, I feel like we never, I'll actually go into that when I finish reading these files and sum up my thoughts. Termite. Yep, they're not even in the same family as ants. They're the cockroach family instead. Great. Also, king crabs are in the hermit crab order. And their mora is in the Perciformes order. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I'm aware of this because I play Metazua, which is actually quite fun. I don't think I've ever actually lost it, but every time I get a fish or a bird, I feel like pulling my hair out because there's just so many of them. Oh, more of them. Okay. Conjunction. So, who here is aware of Schoolhouse Rock? I missed that. Conjunction junction. What's your function? Okay. And Yoji's picture. Wait, what? If you look closely, it almost looks like there's a man running in the background. Wait, what? That's creepy. I don't see that. A guardian suit is looking after. Okay, I have no idea what you're on about here because I did not see it, but sure. Alright, last page. We're almost there. It's also the name of a ski resort for miniature cows. Okay. Yep, I figured this was the case, really. Mystery 5. So, who was 5? There are few clues scattered throughout the story, but nothing conclusive. Perhaps the truth will be revealed at the Nevada test site. The activation passwords. Huh? This one. That's very interesting. Okay, well, No, I don't want that. I'm trying to find a nice background to leave this one. I'll just leave this one up. Now I'm going to share my thoughts about the game. Let me quickly review my 999 final thoughts video because I remember I shared some of my hopes for this game, and I'm going to comment on whether any of those hopes were properly fulfilled. Okay, so to review, I had 4 hopes for this game before I played it, and here are what they are. The first one was I wanted more stuff to do with Lotus. Did I get that? No, not at all. She was mentioned like one time in these notes, and that was about it. And any other mentions were from me. The next thing was I wanted a more cohesive ending. Do you think I got that? No, I did not get that at all, actually. In fact, I was so confused and baffled by the ending. I literally had to pause, take some time to research to be like, is this it? Is this really the end? Because I was just so, like, flabbergasted that was it. Like, it felt like there should have been more. I was like, we were in the middle of, like, a nice hearty meal, and then suddenly my plate was, like, yanked away from me, and it's like, actually, you don't get to finish this. That's what it felt like to me, unfortunately. My third thing was, I wanted new characters, which for the most part I did get. Obviously there were some exceptions, but I did really enjoy the cast of this game, so I'm very satisfied with that. And I also wanted a new setting, and of course we did get a new setting. We are on the moon. That's definitely a new setting, and a very different time as well. And I also asked for different types of puzzles, specifically ones with less map. Did I get that? Yes and no. Basically, there were different kinds of puzzles. There were some I really, really enjoyed. Like the archive, I loved. The garden, that was my favorite. But some of these rooms and puzzles were just so frustrating that I just could not deal. And it was just very, very upsetting to me. Because it wasn't as much math, I suppose, as before, but it felt like there was harder math at some points, which was stressing me out. Like, not necessarily all the time, but the one thing that immediately pops into my head was that freaking root puzzle in the control room, that one drove me insane. I hated that so much. I just could not deal with that. Anyway, now that I've finished the recap, I've went through all of the gold files, there is just time for me to talk about my overall opinion of this game. I did take a few days to like process everything. I'm not doing this like right after I finished it. Like I said, I was very, very unsatisfied with the ending originally. But I feel like I've come around to it somewhat. I've also found out that the alternate ending thing with Kyle, or whoever was in Kyle's body, that's not canon. But, upon, like, reflecting on, like, the overall story and message of this game, I did come to appreciate the ending a little bit more. I feel like the choice to leave it in what is essentially a doomed timeline, that's a bit of a controversial decision, and one I wasn't really happy with at first. But when I was thinking about how Tenmyoji was talking about how if we hadn't done all this, he never would have met Quark, and a lot of other good things in his life never would have happened. And I feel like that made me appreciate it more, because I am someone who likes to find happiness wherever I can. Just anything small, whether it's like good food, a nice song, a soft blanket, shower, just a fun game, stuff like that. Just gives me a reason to be grateful and happy. And I'm going through a lot right now in my personal life. a lot. And I have actually started this channel just as like a kind of way to escape from it all. Even though no one watches this, I'm doing this for my own enjoyment. That's why I am going to make the videos I want to make. I'm going to put in as much effort as I feel is reasonable, which is not much for now, because, you know, I don't really bank on anyone watching this. So if you are watching this, let me know. Is anyone out there? But yeah, it's just like... Sometimes... I also just think that a story does not necessarily have to have a happy ending. I was kind of expecting it just after 999 finished. It ended in a relatively positive note. They escaped. Everyone escaped together. And things were kind of looking up. And we just did not get that this time. But I feel like it also ended on an optimistic note in a different way. So, yeah, I'm not as peeved about the ending as I was before. And now for the big question. Did I like this game? I did. I really did enjoy this game. When I was really into it, I would record for like several hours at a night. I could not tear myself away from it. It ruined my sleep schedule even. And if I didn't have to record at night when everyone else was sleeping, I would have played way more. I probably would have finished the series in like a week, to be honest. That's how into it I was and my peak obsession with it. I really loved all the characters, except for Dio. And it was just... I'm very curious about the next game. I do know a little bit about it. Like I said, I think I have apparently seen spoilers, and I thought they were for this game, but it is not. I have heard two things, like, without context. I know of... Well, I've actually found out more, unfortunately, since then. I found out that there is something called the snail, and I thought that was in this game. So I was like, this whole game, I was like, yeah, I can't wait, because, you know, I'm a snail. If you've seen my channel, profile picture, that's me. I'm a purple snail. And I was a bit bummed out when that never came up. And I've also heard of something called the religious fanatic. And now after the Free the Soul thing, I can maybe have an idea of where that might be going. But like I said, I've just heard those two terms in a vacuum with no additional information attached to it. I just also learned a few other things, unfortunately, within the past few days, because apparently spoilers love to flock to me. Great. I found out that there will, again, be some repeat characters in the next game, I believe. And I think there will also be... I do know of one character who will be appearing. I will say who it is when they appear. I will not tell you now. Because, like I said, I said the whole snail and religious fanatic thing with full confidence, and then it never happened. So, I can't be too sure. Anyway. Yep, that's about it. I love this game. I love the characters. Did I like it as much as I did 999? I'm not sure. I did really enjoy both of them. I feel like I liked them in different ways. I couldn't say which one I liked more than the other. But I feel like as a story overall, 999 accomplishes it better. Because there was never really too many points where I was confused or like overwhelmed. Like there was some stuff I failed to understand, but after like doing some research, it made sense to me, and I was like, oh, okay. But this game had like a lot of really like complicated concepts that were like a bit over my head, and a few that even when I was understanding them, it was just like putting so much at once that it was hard to process. And what else is there to say? I'm not really sure. Oh yeah, one more thing. I will, like I said, be taking a break before I start Zero Time Dilemma with a shorter game that I've been waiting to play for years, and it will be called Endless Monday. Does anyone want to watch that? Probably not. Do I care? No, not really. I'm gonna play what I want to play, and I'm gonna put whatever I want on this channel. And, you know, you're welcome to join me for that. And if I ever post a video that you don't like, well, if you don't need to watch it, that's okay. I mean, I'm not gonna make you. I'm just happy that you feel like you want to join me at all. It means a lot. And, yeah, that's about it. This concludes my, my Virtue's Last Reward bonus episode to tie everything up in a nice little bow. And I will see you in Zero Time Dilemma when I get to that. Oh, and I avoid doing this because, like, I don't know, I find it annoying. But if you've enjoyed anything I've posted, please like my videos and subscribe. You don't have to, but it is free and it makes me happy, and you can undo it whenever you feel like. So that's about it. That's my whole begging for the month. And that's it. Goodbye for now.